Howdy, kids. It's me, Bob Harris, Senior Editor of Football Diehards. Week 5 is upon us. Time for the Saturday injury preview, review, overview, update thing. We'll start out. There's bye weeks this week, in case you missed it. Atlanta, the Denver Broncos, the New Orleans Saints, Washington Redskins, all sitting this week out. So I'm sure you're all on top of that, but adjust your lineups accordingly as needed. We'll get to the injuries. I'll run through them chronologically like I always do, starting with the earlier kickoffs. No London game, so we don't have to wake up as early, right? So good news there. So mostly, minor stuff. A lot of the guys who have injury issues have been ruled out already. So let's run through them. We'll start with the Tennessee Titans. Marcus Mariota listed as questionable. Practiced on a limited basis all week. The issue is, can he protect himself? He has to be mobile enough to move and get himself out of harm's way. It's going to be a game time decision. If I had to guess, I would say they'll play it. They'll err on the side of caution. Matt Castle will start if Mariota doesn't. You'll have to watch that, obviously, and all that goes with that, including the receiving corps. Although Delaney Walker might be a good play if Castle needs a security blanket. For the other side of the ball, everyone's good. Jay Ajayi off the injury report, practiced fully. So good to go there. For the Indianapolis Colts, Jack Doyle's been ruled out. Had a concussion, suffered kind of a setback, or showed up on Thursday not feeling as good, stiffness in his neck, so they ruled him out. Brandon Williams will move up in the rotation there. Of course, Chester Rogers is questionable this week. He could return for the first time this season, or could return to play first time this season. Had a hamstring injury this summer, aggravated early on, hasn't been back since, so he has a chance to be back this week. Andrew Luck started practicing. He will not be back this week, but it's getting there. Could be 3 weeks. That whole November time frame seems about right to me. For the San Francisco 49ers, Marquise Goodwin listed as questionable with a concussion. He made the trip to Indianapolis, so he has to get final clearance still from the concussion protocol. Carlos Hyde and Matt Breida showed up on the injury report. Hyde has been there the last couple of weeks, listed as questionable. Not there anymore, so he's good to go. That's a good sign. For the New York Giants, Paul Perkins has been ruled out. Wayne Gallman's show begins, maybe. Orleans Dark was healthy off the injury report, so that's something to watch. But Gallman showed a little something last week that the Giants definitely need something going up against the Chargers. Brandon Oliver on the other side of the ball has been ruled out. Terrell Williams is questionable. He practiced fully, though, for the Chargers, so expect him to play. As far as the Giants go, everyone else, Odell Beckham was removed from the injury report. Brandon Marshall removed from the injury report. Darko removed from the injury report. Everyone else is good to go. For the Philadelphia Eagles going up against the Cardinals, it's Wendell Smallwood is listed as questionable, but he didn't practice all week and seems very unlikely to play. More for LeGarrette Blount, maybe Corey Clement, and maybe even Kenyon Barner, the guy who they signed to be more of a kick return guy, but maybe capable of playing a receiving role. For the Arizona Cardinals, the usual suspects, John Brown and J.J. Nelson, both listed as questionable, quad and hamstring respectively. Brown played through it last week. Nelson's been playing through his last couple weeks. I would expect that to continue. It should be a good matchup for the Cardinals passing attack in this one. For the Cincinnati Bengals, no surprise here. Tyler Eifert and John Ross already ruled out. Expect that for the foreseeable future. There's no sign that Eifert's heading back anytime soon. Tyler Kroft, very productive against Cleveland Browns, who are very susceptible to tight ends, but Kroft kind of filled that role, right? Got a couple touchdowns, so interesting to see there. For the Buffalo Bills, Jordan Matthews ruled out. He'll miss likely a month after thumb surgery, so make your plans going forward accordingly. For the Detroit Lions playing Carolina, Dwayne Washington, Kenny Golladay ruled out already. Amir Abdullah taken off the injury report late in the week. Galladay's had a hamstring injury. It's been an issue the last 3 weeks, so no sign that he'll be back soon. Didn't practice this week. For the New York Jets against the Cleveland Browns, Matt Forte's ruled out. That means more Bilal Powell, more Elijah McGuire. It should be a good day for both of them. Certainly Powell is a viable play this week. The other side of the ball, Kenny Britt listed as doubtful, which is no surprise. He's been on the outs with Hugh Jackson's been calling him out every week, and Britt has been dropping a lot of passes. That leaves a pretty thin receiving core, however. Sammy Coates returns to give him a deep threat. The young guys, Rashard Higgins, Ricardo Lewis, are also in the mix. For the Jaguars, Marquise Lee listed as questionable. Didn't practice all week. True game time decision. According to my Football Diehards co-host on SiriusXM Fan Sports Radio, Mike Dempsey, he works in Jacksonville as well, covers the Jaguars. He says it's truly up in the air, so be ready to make some adjustments if you're going with Lee. Leonard Fournette taken off the injury report, so that's good news there. The late afternoon kickoffs. Here's an interesting one. Derek Carr returned to practice Thursday, began throwing again. moved really well, looked good on Friday. Listed as questionable. Sounds like next week is very realistic for his return, but he is lobbying to play this week. Don't sound like he'll get there, but the fractured transverse process is a small bone in the spine. Tony Romo's returned after 1 week with that. Cam Newton's returned after 1 week. It looks like Derek Carr's well on the way to do that as well. DeAndre Washington is listed as questionable as well in that game. Michael Crabtree off the injury report after missing last week with a bruised lung. Amari Cooper has been nursing a knee, every week. He's also off the injury report. Needs to pick up the pace. Obviously, a lot of drop passes. Been very disappointing season so far for Cooper. So hopefully he can pick up the pace with Crabtree back a little bit. For the Baltimore Ravens, Jeremy Maclin turned up on the injury report as questionable with a hand injury. Sounds like he'll play. Same with Ben Watson, ongoing calf issue. He played through it last week. Followed the same path this week. No practice Wednesday and Thursday. Back on the field Friday. Expect him to play. Max Williams ruled out again with his ankle injury. For the Seattle Seahawks, CJ Prosise listed as doubtful. That leaves the 3 running back. Chris Carson, of course, suffered a season-ending injury. So he's obviously not going to be back. So Pete Carroll's been talking about a 3-way share right this week. It's Rawls and Lacey with the early down work, and it's going to be whoever gets the hot hand, right? So that's going to be a tricky situation. J.D. McKissick will fill in as the receiving back. Did a great job last week. Could as well again this week going against the Rams. It's a pretty favorable matchup. So we'll see how that plays out, but it's going to be hard to divine in advance who's going to get the hot hand. It's just that's how it works with these 3-man rotations until somebody establishes themselves. Based on what we've seen of Lacey this year, I haven't seen signs that he's going to be that guy. Maybe we'll see some more of Rawls and he'll get a chance to be that guy. The Dallas Cowboys will be taking on Green Bay Packers, who will likely be without Ty Montgomery. He's listed as doubtful, all but officially ruled out. Awaiting words on Devontae Adams. Go on and watch the main page of the site to see what's going on with him. He needed to be cleared before he made the trip to Dallas. That's supposed to happen anytime here. So watch the main page again. I'll have updates on that if you want to. Meanwhile, Jamal Williams is off the injury report, so he's good to go. Aaron Jones is ready to chip in as well for the receiving corps. Geronimo Allison will move up if Devontae Adams isn't there. Randall Cobb, Jordy Nelson obviously already there. It's a great matchup for the passing attack for the Packers. And not that hard to run against. Monday Night Football. Sam Bradford practiced again today, Saturday. My guess is they'll list him as questionable. We'll see if he comes back this week or if they hold him out for one more game. If not, if he doesn't come back, Case Keenum will play against the Bears. Dalvin Cook, another season-ending injury. So we'll see Latavius Murray in that early down role. Probably Jerick McKinnon is the receiving back. They'll chop that up a little bit. But Latavius Murray obviously should get some reasonable volume against the Chicago Bears this week. And so there you have it. That's the injury update. As always, I encourage you and advise you and implore you to keep an eye on the main page of the site throughout the weekend, throughout all the kickoffs. We'll have all the late breaking news and injury info coming in. I'm looking for some now. There's nothing new on the Packers at the moment, and no official designation on Bradford. Of course, all kinds of good content on the main page of the site right now. We have Brad Cruz's Sit Start Sunday edition, my own DFS 3 and Out, all kinds of stuff from Armando Marsal. A lot of good DFS content there from Jen Ryan as well, John Laub, JJ Buck, Gary Davenport's The Shadow Knows, one of my favorite pieces every week. So hit the site, study up, and good luck this weekend. Week 5, let's get some wins.